Beautiful. Joe, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, Eric. Great to be here, mate.
Friends, it's the Guitar Show. We got Joe Robinson on for our second week in a row.
Hello.
Real treat. Last week, I asked most of the questions, and I really wanted to get in the nitty-gritty of the course and what have you. The course has done fabulous.
Yeah.
Ton of new students in there.
Amazing response.
Yes. And this week, what I'd like to do is have the majority, I would like to take your guys' questions on Joe's playing, his style, technique, the course, any questions that you have for Joe. Now would be the time to do that, because you can ask me questions whenever you want, right? Also, he's going to be performing more amazing tunes like this. All the links are below. Okay, so links to Joe's social, all that good stuff. This course we extended because we had so many folks get into it that it seemed like it wasn't done yet. So we extended it another 5 days. We probably won't be doing that in the future, so don't get used to that. But it does officially end at 2:05 p.m. Central Daylight Time, right? We're in Central right now. So whatever it is right now, it's literally 2 hours from now, the sale will end. And it will be back up to $129.99. That's the normal price for this, but it's literally $9.99 today. So if you want to take advantage of that, the very first link below, it's also pinned in the chat there. So, so Joe, tell us before we get into some questions here, what have you been up to? You've been doing these live shows, right?
Yeah, I've been doing a live stream concert every week, you know, on my YouTube channel and Facebook page. And we're on week 35 coming up this Saturday. I do them on Saturdays usually, sometimes Sundays.
Yeah.
But, you know, this past year has been really a great creative time for me. I've been writing a lot of music, practicing a lot. And, you know, it's been nice interacting with more people than ever online, posting more videos.
Yeah, man, you've got some super fans, which you should. You're a fantastic player. But it's always nice to have those folks that really die hard that are probably here today. So I see a lot of folks in the course already. Someone was asking, should I learn my open chords before starting the course? And
well, we go over all the open chords and bar chords in the course.
Okay, beautiful.
So, you know, if you've never played a guitar before, you can take this course and you have all that information to reference and to, you know, brush up on open chords or bar chords. But if you know, I've had a lot of comments from people who are somewhat experienced players, but somewhat new to fingerstyle, which is using, you know, the fingers of your right hand to play rolling patterns, that kind of thing on a guitar. And of course, there are some really great songs like Freight Train by Elizabeth Cotten, arranged by Chet Atkins, Streets of London, and Blackbird by the Beatles. You know, those are just great songs to learn that I think, you know, any guitar player would enjoy playing. I sure enjoy playing them. And so, you know, it is a course for people who are beginners to fingerstyle, but also if you're a total beginner to guitar, you'll find all the information you need to play open chords and bar chords and the basics in there.
Yeah. You specifically created this course not only to teach fingerstyle, especially the style that you play, but you created the beginning part of it so like you could be a fledgling guitar player, just coming straight into it and learning all the basics about guitar as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so to answer your question, you can literally jump into this course right away and be learning all the basics. And I saw another interesting comment here, and I love it that you did this. It was a couple folks that said, let's see, there was one, all right, right here, K&R Flash said, I bought the lesson a week ago and was on lesson 46. Until 46, I knew all the stuffs, so did not take the time. I get it, 100%. That's perfectly great the way you're doing it, and I really appreciate your approach, K&R. Anybody else, do this. If you're taking a course from Joe, from me, from Corey, from anybody, go through from the very beginning, because there are little morsels that people miss, and then they wonder why their playing isn't working out the way they want it to, because they miss those rudimentary, fundamental things that people say, I don't need that, it's just not necessary, I want the other stuff. But you can't build a skyscraper without a great foundation, right? So you have to have a solid foundation, and this course covers that. Okay, and I also saw another one here. Denise here saying, I don't think my fingers will ever move that fast. Were you and I talking about speed here recently? Accuracy and speed?
I don't think so. I don't think we talked about that.
That might have been, I think that was Brandon Paul, another guitar player I was talking to. But do you have anything to say about that as far as speed, timing, accuracy, all that? Like what, could you say anything about that as far as speed?
Yeah. When I was younger, I wanted to play everything as quick as possible, and you might laugh at that and say, you still play really fast, Joe. But I feel like I've mellowed out a little bit. But when you try to play fast, you can learn a lot about your technique, because the thing you'll learn, and everybody's experienced this, I'm sure, is when you try to play faster, your hands tense up and you get stiff. And the way to play fast is to train your hands to be relaxed, which takes a lot of deliberate practice, just really trying to get the left hand to be very relaxed and the right hand to be very, very relaxed. And, we all have different, tastes, and, maybe you want to be like slow hand, like Eric Clapton, and play that beautiful blues phrasing, not super fast necessarily. Or maybe you want to be like Aldi Meola and play everything like Flight of the Bumblebee fast. Whatever you want to play, I mean, it's in reach. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to practice, and it does take a lot of time, and that's an investment. But for my money, it's all about playing great songs, great music, and sharing it with people. And if you don't want to perform, just learning the songs because you enjoy them.
Yeah.
And so my goal with anything I teach is just to give people the tools to be able to play great music. And it doesn't need to be necessarily, the real fast, pushing the envelope, virtuosic stuff that I torture myself with trying to play. So that's my philosophy on playing fast, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. Something that I'll add, which I'm sure you would prescribe for folks as well, is that when it comes to speed, accuracy is the thing that really is what we're looking for. That begets speed. You're never going to get speed without getting accurate.
Definitely.
And I always say accuracy is something that you can get right now. Speed is, number one, it's an opinion. So what someone thinks is fast is going to be different for everybody. And it's always something that I've found with every student I've ever worked with is they're never happy with their speed. It's always something that's out there. What a frustrating way to approach something as beautiful as a guitar, right? But accuracy is something that you can do today. And we talked about this too, is breaking those tunes down and really appreciating every little nuance and every little note moving from here to there, and the counterpoint and all the rest. It's like when you do that, you're really becoming one with the instrument, and then speed will follow. But if you're just going after speed all the time, it can be very frustrating. But anything, when you see people playing fast, it really has to do with accuracy, because Joe's fingers, Yngwie Malmsteen's fingers, your fingers, don't move any faster than anybody else's. It's that they accurately move on the fretboard and they're able to execute things. You can move your fingers fast, but without the lick being accurate, it doesn't matter, right?
100%.
So here's someone asking about, and I know you have an opinion on this. I've ordered a set of spring-loaded mountain picks. They're intended to let you finger pick and use them as a flat pick as well. Anyone have any experience?
Yeah, I've used those spring-loaded black mountain picks, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool design. I think you got to find the right thumb pick for you.
Yes.
The right thumb pick for me right now is a Dunlop medium, because I just get that thumping sound that I can't get from the slick picks, and the black mountain picks are very good.
And I don't finger pick much, but I really like the Black Mountain because it's not so snug on my finger.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not using it like you're using it. So.
Yeah. Everyone's different, and you got to find the pick that works for you.
Here's a great one. Hi, should I only play songs after mastering many chords and pentatonic scales, or go ahead and expand myself for everything?
That's a good question. So I'm assuming you're asking, should you learn jazz and more chords and
I think that's what they're asking. Should they learn?
go into more advanced theory and that kind of
I
thing?
think that's what they're saying.
My approach is, if you're interested in it, go for it. If you have just, I'm a kind of a curious person, so I just try and learn everything. And, I think it's important not to get distracted by playing great songs and playing great music, because I think that's what, that's what made me fall in love with music initially.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to get too far away from that.
Yeah.
But, people will often ask me, if I get stuck on a section of the course, should I, just stick with that before moving on?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fine line, because you don't want to get, caught up on something,
Yeah.
but also you don't want to rush through things and not
Right.
put the time in. So, I think my journey has been just consistent improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too crazy fast.
Yes.
Although the times I've been able to accelerate my journey is when I've been able to spend time with a great mentor. I think having great mentors is everything. Just a player who you can be around to learn from, can fast track your progress a lot in my experience. But yeah, I've just tried to always improve incrementally, and the good thing about music is there's just a limitless, endless amount of things that we can work on and learn. So it depends on what your goals are, but I think, whatever touches your heart and makes you inspired, is that's what I would suggest chasing.
Yeah, I love that. Tony Robbins says we typically overestimate what it is that we can do in a short amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and underestimate what we can do in the long term. So like what
That's
you're saying,
exactly
like,
right.
You may not even have thought that you'd be the guitar player that you are today. At first, you were just craving to play, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you really want to do. If you can conjure that, if you can get that and be excited enough about playing, you're just going to be in it. And every moment is great, you know what I mean? But when it comes to chords and all this, when Joe steps on stage, no one's requesting certain chords or certain scales. They're requesting songs, or they want him to play songs, right? So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is songs. That's what moves us. And the chords and the scales and everything, those are the elements that create that. So my opinion is, start playing songs immediately, because that's where the fun is, right? And then as far as, here's another question where same one, Benedict was asked about all the chords. One of the first lessons that I always taught my students was the 9 essential chords. I call them the 9 essential chords. Another teacher may have the 5 or the 20 or whatever, but for me, just the basic open chords: E minor, A minor, C, D, G, D minor, E major, A major, and B7. Like, if you know those, you could play in the key of G and C. You could play many of those
Mm-hmm.
songs that are in those keys. Because there's only so many chords that you use, and then you use the capo and you can move around. So, and why I think it's interesting to play songs is because it keeps you in the game, and it keeps you excited. It keeps you coming to the guitar, which makes you practice more, which makes you more. One feeds the other, and it makes you just want to do more and more. So, Brandon, you're saying, is this course going to be added to the pro membership of Unstoppable? It is not. It is not. These courses that we're doing with our artist friends are not. They're on their own. All right. Good stuff. Great questions here, by the way, y'all. Now's the opportunity to get into Joe's head here and figure out how he's thinking, right? Do you mute string 4 when adding the high strings with alternate bass?
That's a very good question. Yes. I was sent a video by a fellow the other day, and he was playing a song. He was playing Baby's Coming Home, which sounds like this. the fourth string is not muted. It sounds more like this. So you just hear that kind of droning out, and it just kind of clouds the melody. That might not have been the best demonstration of it, but yeah, the idea is to have, this is like the left hand of the piano. So it's all pretty muted, not too muted, but it's also not too open. Yeah. And then the top strings, they ring out. Now, a friend of mine who's a direct guitarist says, you need to spend just a year working on your thumb. And, I'm not going to tell people that that's true because I don't want to discourage you. But it does take a while to get a feel for the muting with the thumb. Yeah. On the right hand. And, it's not an exact science.
Right.
When you're playing, you can let your hand off a little bit to give it a little bit of a different, to let some notes speak through. Yeah. Without the muting. But generally speaking, the idea is to have the left hand kind of be the muted sound and then the right hand be the clear melodic notes.
Yeah. I like to think of music as it's less math and it's more like art class, right? There is no right and wrong, but people say, well, how much of my palm should I put on there? It's like, how much palm should I put on the strings there? It's like you have to feel that stuff out yourself. You've got to figure it out yourself, how to feel. And
to me, the important things are just to not get too stiff.
Yeah.
So if your hand gets really stiff and you just kind of like a tensing up in the arm here or the forearm, that's what you really want to avoid. You want to try and be as relaxed as possible, and the same with the left hand. But beyond that, there's a lot of room. Yeah. A lot of wiggle room.
Yes. John St. Eric, you talked about the speed as fruit of accuracy, correct? In the Fingerstyle module and the kids measure portion, yes. In my course, I have a song called Kids by MGMT. It was a pop song, but I did kind of like a fingerstyle version of that. But yes, 100%. It's the only thing. There's only accuracy. Speed is a byproduct of accuracy, and it's never going to be anything other than that. There is no speed without the accuracy. So if you just focus on the accuracy, the speed is something that happens, and you're not sitting there waiting for it, right? It's like the watch pot.
Jill's in Santa Barbara. I love Santa Barbara.
Nice.
I played the Libero Theater.
Yeah.
That's a great room.
Weather's all right there.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
Jishnu is saying, I'm still struggling with switching between chords. Is it okay to try to fingerstyle at this moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think, a great way I like to practice switching between chords is just to use the left hand to fret the chords like that.
Just focus on that left hand, right?
Yeah. And I personally think, if you're starting out, a lot of people just learn how to strum. Mm-hmm. And that's all well and good. Yeah. But learning to play fingerstyle from the beginning can actually be a really great way to learn. Yeah. Because getting those rolling patterns. I mean, to me, that is just a little clearer than a kind of a strum pattern, because a strum can be. I always was confused by down, down, up, up, down, and all these different patterns. But I think check out the course, and if you like the way I communicate and teach, I think that this will help certainly fill in some of the gaps in playing those chords, switching between chords, and moving on to playing songs, especially fingerstyle songs.
Yeah. So Bobby's asking, is this a recurring price for that course? No, it's just a one-time. So it's $9.99. Today ends in hour and a half or so. Normally it's $129.99. So it's literally, you pay it one time and you have it for life. All right, good. Joe, would you give us a little bite-sized piece of maybe one of the tunes that you teach in the course, maybe Freight Train, or and just show us how you go about mentally thinking about it, how you're breaking it down, so people don't think, oh, he just was born like that. You know, you're thinking this too, how to break those pieces down.
Definitely. Well, I'll play a little bit of Freight Train and then I'll show you the different elements involved. So what's going on there is the thumb is providing this accompaniment. And we have two patterns. There's the 5th string bass pattern, which 5th string root bass pattern, which sounds like this, which is 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4. And so because the C major chord has the root note on that 5th string, we play the 5th string root bass pattern. Over the G, we play the 6th string root bass pattern, which is 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4. And there's really only 2 main patterns. So we don't need to, there's not an infinite amount of patterns. It's really just this groove over the C chord, that chord over the G chord, that groove over the G chord, and then, we move through the different chords. So that's what's going on with the thumb. And then with the fingers, once we've gotten used to doing like a string grab, for example, like this.
What do you mean by string grab?
So string grab. Yeah, you just grabbing the strings.
Gotcha.
And I use one finger per string. I use the index finger to play the 3rd string, middle finger to play the 2nd string, ring finger to play the 1st string. And I'll just strike those 3 notes together on the downbeat. So that's a really good thing to practice. And it'll take a while to get comfortable with that. And I love to practice with a metronome, so I'll sit there with my metronome and practice that. And then you learn a couple of rolling patterns like this. Which is just 2 notes. 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. But they're between the bass notes. So once you've gotten comfortable with that, moving between C and G, you can move between A minor and E minor, which everything stays exactly the same with the right hand. And then if we go to Freight Train, we're playing a melody on top, which is a bit different to a string grab or a roll. And so we got to kind of take each little bar at a time. So the way I learned to play Freight Train was literally so that's just one bar. So we're playing those 2 notes together, the ring finger on the high E and the thumb playing the 5th string. And then we play the 4th string by itself. And then we play the low E and the high E together. And the left hand's playing that 3rd fret. And it takes a while. I mean, honestly, if it takes a week to get that first bar or the first 2 bars down, that's totally normal. But once you've learned the first song, the second song is easier. The third song is easier than the second. The fourth song is easier than the third, and it just gets easier because you've kind of cross-trained yourself to play these different patterns.
Yeah.
And so once you get that first bar, second bar. You loop that. Put them together. Again. And then learn the rest. Songs are pretty repetitive. So the most difficult part is usually the beginning, because it's, establishes the feel and the kind of patterns and the melodic ideas.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on under the hood of Freight Train.
Yeah, I love that. So when you're playing the bass notes of these chords, you're starting with the one or the letter name of the chord, and then you're either playing like the 3 or the 5. Is there any sort of recurrence in regards to what the notes are, 3 or 5, or is it just always some note in the chord there on the bottom?
Yeah, there's really just 2 patterns. Basically, what you're trying to kind of replicate is the 1-5 bass pattern that like a bass would play.
Yeah.
That's a 1 to 3.
And always starting with the 1 when the chord is introduced.
Yeah, and so there's just 2 patterns. So it's the first pattern is 5, 4, 6, 4, and that is worth spending a good amount of time just getting comfortable with that. Then the second pattern is 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, and that allows you to play over, most anything really.
Yeah, beautiful. Some 10 is saying here, can I use my thumb instead of a thumb pick for fingerstyle?
You certainly can, and sometimes I'll play songs without a thumb pick because it has a different sound. As you can hear, it just isn't quite as articulate, and it's ringing out because I put it on the strings there.
Right.
But with the thumb pick, you just get a little more articulation, which I really like. And it's a little easier to get some volume and power, so I really like the sound of a thumb pick. And I just use a Dunlop medium, and I don't shave them down or anything.
Do many people do that?
Well, people often ask me if I do, so I think
there
a lot
must
of people
be a thing,
do.
Yeah.
Because it is awkward at first.
Yeah, they're a little longer than your regular plectrum when you hold it.
But I know it's really hard, and honestly, it does take quite a bit of patience. Mm-hmm. Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
But it's worth sticking with because if you spend a few months focused on playing fingerstyle guitar, in my mind, you'll be able to enjoy playing fingerstyle songs for years to come.
Yeah.
Just if you put in a little bit of deliberate practice, it really. Yeah, it's a great thing to add to your musical tool belt.
Yeah. Someone's asking, how do you go about building a chord structure around a melody? Let's see, you write as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a question you could ask. You could answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because if I was to play a song like "Summer Over the Rainbow," and I was gonna play the chords. Trying to think of how to play. Well, that's kind of the basic version, but if you put these chords in. The melody feels quite different. It has more emotion and more movement. So, yeah, if you have a good melody, which like my mom is a whistler, she just whistles all the time, without even thinking about it.
Right.
And she'll do like medleys of one song going into another song, and it's just like
that's fun.
It's really neat. And if you you know, maybe you're a vocalist and you have a nice melody that that you want to write a song around. You know, I think it's worth experimenting with the different chords you could put, because if you have an A major note and you're in the key of A, you can play the A, you can play the D, you can play the F sharp minor, you can even play like the C sharp minor with a suspension. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. You can play B minor 7, you can play E suspended, and yeah, it's worth taking a melody and experimenting with, playing all kinds of different chords over that same
possibilities,
melody.
Yeah, the possibilities are
Yeah.
pretty endless. I mean, the note will resolve to a chord, and it could be that note that it resolves to technically could be any one of those chords, but your ear will probably tell you. I mean, it will tell you. We've all been conditioned since we were babies, right? With pop music, and what I mean by pop is anything that you're hearing on the radio. I mean, rock, blues, jazz. It's all pop. It's all popular music, and your ear's gonna tell you what chord you like, and it may not be the chord that Joe likes, right? So, like, there is a as you mature as a musician too, you start getting into those chords that at first, as a child or whatever, you're like, ooh, I don't think that sounds very good, because you get bored.
Yeah.
Right.
And the way I like to think about it is, you know, Daniel Levitin, who wrote "This Is Your Brain on Music," he's a really great author and musical thinker and wonderful songwriter and musician as well. But he says that if a song is too familiar sounding, we get bored of it.
Yeah.
But if it's too, you know, avant-garde, then we just can't really get into it.
Yeah.
We have no kind of, there's nothing to,
Yes.
you know, hook us. So you want to find that sweet spot.
Yes.
And that's going to be a little bit different for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen to some really like progressive metal, and a lot of people love that, and I just go, man, that's just like, I just
Don't get it.
I can't get into
It's
it.
mathy.
But you know, there might be some music that's just so simple that some people, you know, it doesn't satisfy
Yeah.
their you know, interest in maybe more advanced musical harmony ideas and that kind of thing. So you're always just searching for that sweet spot, I think. And there's only three elements in music. There's rhythm, there's melody, and there's harmony. And so if you have a good melody, that's one element. You need some good harmony.
Yeah.
So some good chords that, you know, help the melody and support the melody. And you also need a good groove. And you know, over the last, you know, 80 years, we've had you know, jazz and rhythm and blues, which I think have really improved, you know, the depth of music in general,
Yeah.
because it has swing, it
Yeah.
has movement.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of classical music probably was played with a lot of that panache,
Yeah.
but you know, when you're just reading on a page, it can be just this stiff
Stifling.
thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that's how I think about it anyway.
Yeah. Joe, could you play something that maybe the most challenging yet something that's doable for you? Now, the one that you just played was, I think, seemingly from watching and hearing it, was pretty challenging.
Yeah.
But is there something that you're just really proud of right now that you feel that you have up to performance level that you're like, I'd like to do this one? Or
Yeah, I'll try it. I haven't played it in a few days.
yeah, okay.
But I arranged George Benson's. Well, it was originally written by Jose Feliciano, but George Benson's recording on his Breezin' album
Okay.
of this song I fell in love with. The song's called Affirmation.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll play a little bit of it, and yeah, we'll see if I can remember this. I haven't played it in a week, but
Right.
I arranged it and put a version on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out if you want to hear the version without any fluffs. But
Nice.
One, two, three.
joke. That's challenged me. And if you want to learn that tune, the beginner's course does not cover that, okay?
Yeah.
That, wow, that's all over the place, man, especially the harmonies and stuff. Jeez.
Yeah,
I love
I
George
always
Benson.
love that song, and George plays it, you know, with a
Yeah.
with a funky
Oh,
band
yeah.
behind it. And so you want to kind of bring in some of those elements,
Sure,
some of that
right,
groove.
yeah. You
but
definitely did that.
That's one of the great things about the guitar is, you know, we have limitations. We just have 6 strings
Mhm.
and 10 fingers. Most people do anyway. And you know, it can be a full orchestra
Yeah,
done right.
yeah.
It's really fun to explore.
Let's see here. Chris is saying, is there anything that you can do? He doesn't want to get acrylic nails, but at the same time, his fingernails are soft.
Oh yeah, I don't even use fingernails. I just use the pads of my fingers. And on a steel string guitar, I prefer that sound.
Yeah.
On a nylon string guitar, or a you know, gut string we call them, they you know, it's a little difficult to get the projection without fingernails. However, on a steel string, you can get a kind of a real bluesy sound, which that's the way I like to play. I have some friends that, you know, get a really great sound with fingernails on a steel string, but I could never do it. So
Yeah, and also shreds your nails, because I mean that's what I have
Yeah.
a little bit of nail there because I was a classical guitar major. That was the first thing that I was into, playing guitar, and that's great for a nylon string. It didn't rip your nails up, but you
steel string
shred them.
would,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't use fingernails.
Someone's saying, okay, so you did that, played without the palm muting.
Please play without palm muting. Well, if I was to play like Blackbird by the Beatles, that's an example of a song in the course that doesn't feature the palm muting idea.
Mhm.
that's a beautiful, sweet sound, and yeah, it's just a kind of a different approach than playing more of the percussive, bluesy, swampy.
Yeah.
You know, idea, which I think both are really great to be able to do.
I want to give a shout out to Leon Kamer, who's in the chat here. He answers a lot of questions actually in my console for students, which is so nice. I go to answer my questions, and there's Leon, and he's answered questions for me. So it's beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you, Leon. I was going to ask you about this. Somebody said, "How can I learn to improvise?" But is that something that you feel comfortable doing? Like if you were to take something pretty simple and you have, yeah.
Yeah.
Could you show us an example of that, whether it's
sure.
blues or whatever?
Yeah.
And what we mean by improvise, so for those that don't know, is essentially, you know, guitar players have patterns under their fingers. They've got chords, they've got scales, and they know what the potentials are. It's kind of like when you wake up in the morning, you don't plan everything that you're going to say, but if you are late, you know kind of what you're going to say to your boss, right? If you're going to do, you know, you have basic ideas, and that's essentially what improvisation is. And as you do it more, you get better and better at it, and you can literally just create right on the fly.
Yeah, so I'll play a blues in E. Up to F. F sharp.
What is that? What chord is that?
It's like a Jimi Hendrix chord.
Okay.
But with and the pinkies
Oh, nice.
down there, and then the bass is thrown on there too. It's fun.
Beautiful. I
So
love that.
yeah, I mean, to me, the way I learned to improvise was first to learn the pentatonic scale. And so when I played over the F sharp blues, I just basically used the pentatonic scale. And I like to twang away on the back of there on
Yeah,
the bridge
yeah.
when playing blues.
Yeah.
So that's all just the pentatonic scale, which many of you will know. And if you're asking how to learn how to improvise, that's a really good place to start. Then, you know, learning a major scale all over the fingerboard is a great next step. And it's really worth finding a few different songs. Like if you want to learn how to play over Santana's Evil Ways, that's a great song. Using the Dorian mode, so that's another little scale tool. I don't want to go into too much detail on that now, but yeah, to me it's a matter of collecting a few scales, the pentatonic scale, getting comfortable with that, the major scale, the Dorian mode. There's, you know, we can go into jazz scales and whatnot, but yeah, and picking a few simple songs like Evil Ways is a good one, and just practice playing over those changes, and you can
Yeah.
find backing tracks online, and yeah, there's plenty of ways to go about it. So.
Yeah, beautiful, great stuff there. Somebody said, "I wish I had long fingers like that." Not that I mean, my opinion, not that really helps.
No.
Joe Pass has little sausage fingers, and he does all right.
Yeah, I mean, there's some unbelievable guitarists who, yeah, I mean,
You figure it out.
yeah, there's a young guy, Matteo Mancuso. You know who he is?
No, I don't
maybe
know.
saying his name
Yeah.
wrong. He's an Italian guitarist. I think he's like 24 or something. He's
Right.
absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah,
He is just so great.
yeah.
And, you know, I can't tell how big his hands are, but on an interview, the person said, "Do you have big hands?" He said, "No, I have small hands." And I mean, let me tell you, his technique is
Yeah.
flawless.
Yeah.
Absolutely flawless. So,
Well, you see, I always joke because there's a video online all these little Korean kids, maybe like 5 years old, and they're playing classical guitar. They're playing full-size guitars, and they're playing, you know, they're all over the neck, right? So they're not just playing single melodies. They're playing all the counterpart stuff, and you're like, they got little tiny fingers. It's not. I get it. There's a feeling. Here's the deal, and this is what Joe is really great at doing. Is you got to understand that the long fingers. Someone said Joe is a perfectionist. Yeah, he is. That's what, or he is striving for perfection, right? What you've got to understand is it really is just about practice. It really, truly is. How not cool would it be if Joe was just born like this, right? I wouldn't be that impressed, honestly. I'd be like, okay, so he's born into it. But it's so much cooler that you've worked hard for something, you know?
I love playing left-handed and just being like, look how awkward.
I know, and to start again,
like,
I mean,
oh my
just
goodness.
to play, I mean, play a G chord there. Watch how long it'll take Joe to set up a G chord. He's got to think about it. He's got to, and there you go, right? So it's like, now finger pick. Can you finger pick something?
No, how do I palm it?
Yeah. So this, like, as guitar players, we do this every now and then, right? To just bring you back down to, okay, so I did have to learn this stuff because I saw this other ones. How do you remember so many complex songs?
Yeah.
One song at a time, one note at a time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, when I do these live stream concerts, you know, I'll just play, like I just played a song I haven't played in a week, and I wasn't sure I just didn't remember it. But the thing we can use to our advantage is muscle memory. Muscle memory is incredibly powerful. If you take the time, I mean, I'm convinced that if you spend 15 minutes playing 2 bars of Freight Train every day for a week, you'll have it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's focused, deliberate practice. And, you know, if you take another 15 minutes per day for another couple months and learn the whole tune, and then you play it, you know, for 15 minutes a day for another few weeks, you'll always be able to play it.
Yeah.
Your hands will remember it.
Yeah.
And you might need to brush up on it a little bit, but muscle memory is incredibly powerful. So when I practice, I mean, people will say to me, "Oh man, you play such pretty music on the guitar. I wish you could just like entertain me and practice for me all day." And then like my family will be like, "Oh no, you don't want that," because you hear the same song for 8 hours, like constantly.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm getting ready to make a video, or if it's a new arrangement, or if I'm going in the studio or something. I mean, I'm sitting there with a metronome, playing slowly, painfully, repeating again and again and again and again. But once you've done that, you've kind of woodshedded a song. You know, you can pretty much just play it. It becomes part of your repertoire.
Yeah.
So that's how, you know, you get to a point where you can remember a lot of complex songs. It's the muscle memory. It's incredible.
Yeah, the brain is truly uncanny. As humans, I don't know if other species are the same. I think they probably are, but not maybe to the extent that we are. But like, we're built on the way that our brains work is that it stores information. We have a conscious and a subconscious brain, right? And I say this all the time. The first time that you learned to ride a bike, you weren't talking to your friends, "Hey, look at me, I'm doing great, aren't I?" and looking all around. But now you could do that on a bike. You could look around, you could talk to your friend who's riding next to you, and it's no problem. It's because all your conscious brain power is going to ride that bike. And over time, as you practice something over and over and over again, it goes into your subconscious, and then that's how you can just literally look like, you know, Joe looks like he's not breaking a sweat, because he's not at this point. He broke the sweat and is every single day when he's practicing, and the same is true for you and me, for everybody. It just literally is that repetition, okay? Can you talk a little bit about strumming hand position when learning to fingerpick? Is there a universal home position?
Yeah, everyone has a little bit of a different take on this, and you know, for a classical player, there's a very, very specific right hand position, but for playing, you know, kind of like the more blues and folk influenced fingerstyle that I teach in the course, it actually involves muting the bass strings. And so to do that, you rest the palm of your hand just lightly on those bottom strings. So So those 3 strings are muted. The top 3 strings are not. Never done that before. Really examined how the muting happens. But generally speaking, you know, you just want to be in a comfortable position, fairly relaxed. You don't want to be too tense. And that's about all there is to it. I have 1 finger per string. First finger's on the 3rd string, middle finger's on the 2nd string, ring finger's on the 1st string. And that's kind of just my starting place for playing. And yeah, I mean, it's worth experimenting to find what feels comfortable to you. But you just if you watch me play or watch a fingerstyle guitarist play, you know, you can kind of see the position of the hand, and you know, it's not an exact science. So you kind of find what feels right.
Yeah, I always tell folks, you know, I can tell you about chocolate, or you can taste chocolate, and it's a totally different. I could tell you about it for 10 years, and but the second you taste chocolate, you're going to know. So sometimes you just have to get on the instrument. I say sometimes. You always just have to get on the instrument. Guys like me and Joe will hopefully get you to where it is that you want to get to quicker by breaking some stuff down, but ultimately you got to get your hands dirty. K&R is saying, if I have any problems with your lessons, which, by the way, folks, if you don't know, if you've just tuned in, Joe just dropped this massive course, beginner fingerstyle. It's literally shot up to the top. It's a bestseller already on Udemy, so congratulations for that.
Thank you.
It's literally $9.99 for the next hour and 10 minutes. After that, it's going up to the normal price of $129.99. So you're getting it for 92% off. Okay, you get it for a lifetime. The PDFs, there's like 100 and something videos in it. It's totally comprehensive. You want to learn how to play guitar, or if you want to learn how to play fingerstyle guitar, it will literally take you from the beginning for both those, okay? And so K&R is asking, if I have any problems with your lessons, specifically this course, where can I ask you? How can I contact you being about the course? I have to clear my problems, and they have access to you.
Yeah, every day I log on to Udemy and I answer questions from people. So you can ask me questions. If you are part of the course, you can message me, and I'll do my best to help, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, so literally when you buy this course for $10, you have access to Joe. That's what we're saying. So like, take advantage of this, friends. Get in there, and this is, it's an amazing course.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun for me. I love sharing my passion for music, and you know, to know that someone is spending the time to learn to play. I have a lot of respect for that. So whatever you need, I'll be there to help you.
Orc Midsir says, what ties me to this course is how much I like the music Joe likes. When he plays Caravan on Saturday, I remember on my father's old scratchy 78 that I have and should rescue to digital. Can you play that? Can you play that one on maybe on the way out here? Yeah.
So in this song, the bass goes.
That's interesting, yeah.
And the melody goes like this.
That's cool.
And you play them together. It's Chet Atkins. I love that music too. I mean, I think they'll still be playing songs from the Great American Songbook, you know, those classic standards, you know, in 200 years. I think they're just such great tunes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're
Swings.
just
Feels good.
solid. Bill's asking, when will the follow-up fingerstyle course be ready?
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks.
Do we have a date drop on that, Mike?
Oh, we do.
It's the 4th week of May, but that'll be the intermediate course.
Yeah.
So Joe's done a beginner's course, an intermediate course, and an advanced course. And I'm telling you, if you play fingerstyle guitar, in fact, if there are any fingerstyle guitarists in the chat right now who are taking that beginner course, but you knew how to, you felt like you were a good fingerstyle guitar player before then, please put in the chat here essentially what you think in regards to beginner and what have you. Because what I'm saying here is that wasn't very articulate. What I'm saying is Joe starts you from the very beginning, okay? You don't have to know anything about guitar. However, beginner fingerstyle is different than me teaching you beginner fingerstyle, okay? Joe's a more advanced player, so he gets into some really great stuff. But anyhow, Mike, you have a date?
24th.
The 24th, okay? So if you believe you're an intermediate player, then wait for the 24th. But daggone it, get in there. It's $10. I promise you're going to learn way more than $10 worth of stuff in there, okay? PDFs, it's got the tablatures, it's got the whole 9 yards. I believe it's 5-something hours, right? 5.5 hours. Am I accurate in saying that? Okay. So you're going to learn a ton, okay? One more question here, and then we'll go out with one more tune.
Yeah.
Down with that? Okay, sweet. When are we going to see a collaboration with Mark K?
Mark Knopfler.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Hopefully one of these days. I would love to meet Mark. He's one of my favorite musicians.
And he's a great fingerstyle guitar player as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolute beast. What do you want to do on the way out, Joe?
Well, maybe I'll play I'll See You in My Dreams because Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins played that together, and it's such a great version. There's this old video of, you know, the Everly Brothers do a guest spot. Emmylou Harris does a guest spot. You know,
Nice.
I play guitar with Emmylou Harris these days, so
Nice.
it's crazy to realize that. But there's this video of Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins playing this song together that I just love. So here's a little bit of I'll See You in My Dreams.
Jeez, that's amazing, Joe. Joe, thank you so much again for being here today.
My
Thank you
pleasure,
for
Eric.
blessing us with your amazing playing, your
Appreciate it,
teaching,
mate.
just the whole 9 yards.
Thank you.
You'll come back?
I plan on it.
Yeah. Friends, take advantage of it. The very first link below is going to get you that normally $129.99 course for $9.99. You'll have access to Joe, answer any questions, all that good stuff. Get in there right now because it literally ends in 1 hour from now. All right, my friends, we'll see you. Check out Joe's channel and all the links below as well.